Indemnity, what?
Oh my
What the hell does that mean?
Hey guys, it's Ryan and Haley. Today we are talking about indemnity agreements. What are they? What? And why do we need them? So it's Friday. We are here in Mission Valley, beautiful San Diego, California, and talking to you today about, it keeps coming up over and over again, tons of fix and flips, tons of infill development going in our beautiful city of San Diego. And so we have indemnity agreements that title companies across the board request to protect the lender involved in the transaction. And we want to give you the lowdown on what exactly they are and why we need them.
Yeah, and so, on our team, we're very versed in the fix and flip, the investor world, the infield development. So we do have this come up a lot in a lot of our transactions. This is mainly focused on the developers, the fix and flips, the construction, because this is something that protects the lender when if they're loaning on a property that has been fixed or has work or any construction being done, they need to be in protection that there's no subcontractors or anybody that's going to come back and put a mechanics lien on the property for not getting paid or however that would work. So we have a little bit of nuts and bolts of how that really kind of plays out.
Yeah, and so the main thing to consider is the lender is the one being protected because the title policy that they're requesting covers mechanics liens, junior mechanics liens primarily. So if you just kind of survey the landscape of a construction project, you have one general contractor that typically subs out electrical, plumbing, roof, flooring, etc. to subcontractors. So you got a lot of moving parts, right?
Tons of moving parts.
And it's not so much that these contractors aren't paying their subs, or that there are oftentimes disputes because jobs change, right? Mm-hmm. They went from this description to that description. The flooring was this much flooring, and then they decided let's go with the whole house. So that means the bids change, and then people weren't updated, and then you run into disputes. So it's typically that kind of a junior mechanics lien where down the road we have to deal with a mechanics lien saying, hey, we got the 25,000, but the bid went up to 32,000. We're short on the 7. We need our money. And the lender is like, whoa, that's not our deal.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why with an indemnity agreement or an indemnity package, we have to verify that they can pay. So we have to request a balance sheet of all the funds, everything that has been bidded out. So when title looks at it, if something were to arise, they can say, well, this is covered. They would be able to pay this fee out.
Exactly. So oftentimes title companies in general will request some kind of an operating balance sheet of the organization that's doing the fix and flip, or the seller. Usually the seller and the construction arm are one and the same, or at least together in the deal. So they want to see financials. So that could be a Morgan Stanley account. That could be your checking account. That could be some kind of a balance sheet that shows you have the wherewithal to be able to withstand some kind of a mechanics lien where some subcontractor is claiming X, because if we bring it to the lender, they are covered on those policies. So it comes down to the previous owner / construction company and the title company. And that indemnity agreement says to the title company, hey, if that happens, we'll pay it. That's what the whole agreement is about. So it typically involves some kind of a financial wherewithal, some kind of demonstration of the financial ability to pay off all subcontractors involved, and the agreement with the title company that should something arise, we're good for it. We're happy to pay it because we know that we've done so.
Right. And so this package does require signatures. It does require signatures from the new buyers that are purchasing, that are taking on this construction loan. It requires signatures from the contractors, the general contractors, stating that they are aware of all their subcontractors. They are aware of all the funds that have gone out, the balance sheets. So it does require some signatures, but that is also to put in good faith, in good standings, that if anything does come up, that they will be paid and that lender is protected.
Well, one of the cool things is when you work with Ryan and Haley at Ticor, once you develop a relationship and we've closed a couple transactions together, then there's a relationship that forms between the title company and the entity doing the construction, the infill development, or the flips, so that we don't have to provide this on every transaction. We have it for the file. We can reference the balance sheets. We've got a working relationship, and then we get a trail of wins together. We know, well, these guys are good and they're good about their books, and they typically pay their people. Not to say that a dispute couldn't arise at any time, because that just happens. It's part of big projects.
Part of projects, yeah, part of the construction world.
Yeah, so it's, you know, when you're working with us, we establish a relationship. We have a working relationship together. Trust, as in any relationship, trust is engendered over time. And then you're not having to do this every single time. You typically use the same source of capital, the same lender. So we get to know how they work. We get to know how the construction company works. And the main thing is to protect you with that, your relationship with that lender, by knowing they're made whole by the title company verifying that we know what we're doing, that it won't come back on them.
Right. And so a lot of these people, you know, hard money, the construction loans, you really develop a relationship as a flipper with these people. So they get to a point where they're not going to request indemnity mechanics lien packages on every single project you're doing.
Yeah.
But to just highlight that this is something that is a requirement from the lenders. This isn't something that title just throws on a requirement on. It's part of the coverage that the lender is requesting. So that's why when you start to build that relationship with hard money, construction lenders, you start to develop that goodwill. And after doing a couple projects together, they're like, okay, we don't need the indemnity package on this project.
Well, yeah, people want to cry and say, Haley, what the heck is Ticor talking about? What do we need this? It's not us. It's the lender requesting that. So we have to demonstrate to them that we have them covered for any mechanics liens. Otherwise, I mean, they're the money in the deal, right? If we don't have them, we got no deal.
Well, and then, so Ryan, what happens though if something does come up after we have this indemnity package and it's all been approved and we get it all signed off? Now, what happens if down the road something does come up? Well,
the incoming buyer, who we've said here is a clean bill of health for title, Mr. Incoming Buyer, the end user or what have you, and they receive a lien and a request for payment on $7,500 from one of the subcontractors. Then they call their agent calls the title provider, us, and we say, oh, yeah, that's covered. So Ticor and the construction company, the flipper, the entity, they, in that indemnity agreement, struck a deal that we can go back to them and say, hey, this $7,500 made it through. There's some kind of contest or some kind of a conflict or something, for some reason, we need you to pay this. And then they typically pay it, no problem. And sometimes you have and all the investors are thinking right now, dude, I'll just send you a list of all my subcontractors with paid invoices and we're good, right? Like I can demonstrate I paid these guys. Typically, yes. However, we do need recorded certificate of compliance and completion. What is certificate of completion? So the project needs to have a certificate of completion recorded with the county for us to do that. Typically, again, with relationships, you know, if we've done several deals and several projects together, there's different conversations that can be had. But I want you to expect, for any title company's expectation, they're going to want a certificate of completion done if you're providing invoices of everybody having been paid.
So that is kind of the indemnity. What?
Indemnity what? There's a lot of moving parts.
And that's kind of the reason why, just to go back on, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to construction projects, fix and flips, infield developments. So they have to have some kind of protection, that there's nobody that's going to come after them for any kind of plumbing or electrical or anything that was done before the project was completed.
Yeah.
So that's why they're super important to have, just because it's all, and this is all protection for the lender, incoming buyers, making sure everybody's protected. So that's why they're really important. So we wanted to give you kind of some nuts and bolts about it, just because we get this a lot. We deal with indemnities all the time on a weekly basis. So we wanted to just give you guys some nuggets on it.
Yeah, and have questions, call us, message us, because you're not on your own. We usher you through this process. We interface with the title unit and the lender and get everybody on the same page. So we're not like, hey, here's the 800 number. Good luck with that. Of course, we're there. We hold your hand through the whole process to make sure that everyone has what they need. We just wanted to give you generic information so you have the understanding, because they're so common right now. So any questions, please hit us up. And we just want to, in this heat wave, enjoy your weekend. Find somewhere cool to kick it.
Yeah, stay cool. Go to the beach. Do whatever you need to. But we're here to always help and to support our realtor partners. So if you have any questions, concerns, any ways we can help, please give us a call. Let us know. That's what we're here for.
All right. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Haley.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.